Okay, so we're back.
I have been chastised as the videographer, so I'm going to do my best job for all you folks.
You're going to do a great job. I just know it. So we're back. What are we doing today?
Todd is replacing our dishwasher because the other one is broken.
And Best Buy will not install dishwashers because of the coronavirus. So they delivered, but they did not install. So no problem. So we're going to put a new dishwasher in. We have an old one here, this Bosch, which sucks. Don't ever buy a Bosch dishwasher, just so you guys know. We're going to be taking this one out. This one's only, what, 5 years old?
I don't know. I hate it.
We hate it.
I've hated it from the beginning.
And now it won't heat the water and it won't spray. And I took the whole thing apart and couldn't find anything. So we're getting rid of it. And we got a new one over here. We have a new LG that we're going to be putting in. So just going to walk you guys through. I'm not a professional plumber, but I want to maybe help inspire some people that have not, what is it? Installation might cost $50, but if you're on a tight budget, that's a trip to the grocery store for some small stuff, or it's a night out with your spouse. So this is an easy way to take care of that. So I'm going to walk everybody through this. So first thing you have to do is, there's two things you have to do first. First is we shut the power off to the dishwasher. Our circuit box was not marked for dishwasher, and they aren't always, because it's not a big energy draw on the system. So we literally I had to flip all the switches until it finally turned off, and now we know the power's been cut. The second thing you have to cut is you have to cut the water supply, because when you go to detach the water, you don't want it to spray everywhere. So we're going to now you'll notice I have this kind of piping I think it's called CPVC. You just got to be really careful with it. It makes me nervous every time I deal with it, but I'm just going to slowly shut this valve off. Until it won't go anymore, and I'm not going to put a death grip on it. And that's that. Now I can be able. Now I'm ready to take the old dishwasher out. All right. Okay. And that's really just a couple of screws here. On ours, it's just these little tabs. Now here's where you want to be careful. I'm going to pull it out, but before I do that, I'm going to bring it down here. Now this had a plate on here that I've removed. That was just a couple of screws. What I'm going to do now is these leveling screws down here. I'm raising them up so the whole front will drop. And then that'll allow me to pull this thing out. Alright, now here's where you have to be a little careful. You don't want to have this thing come flying out and you accidentally break a water line or your power or your drain. And on our system, the drain is really the loose one. So here, this is power. This is your 15 amp Romex. This is your water supply right here, and then the drain is over there. So to get the drain, I'm just gonna use a pair of needle nose pliers. It's got a little clip on it. I gotta get my head in here. Can you? I don't know if it's. Yeah. All right, there's the clip. And I'm just gonna wiggle it until it's past the thing. Okay, and then I'm just gonna pull this out. And this is probably gonna leak. There we go. Oh God, that stinks. Seriously, and can you give me a little bowl?
Sure.
Ugh.
What's it smell like?
I don't know, but it's gross. I don't really know what that smell is.
I can smell it.
Yeah.
A little gaggy.
All right. But remember, $50 here. We're going for it. Okay. Now, next thing is the power. All right. So now we've got this dishwasher tipped on its side, and of course a lot more liquid came out. So we have a towel down to mop that up. So there's two things I have to detach. I've already detached the drain. Now I need to detach the power cord. So there's a little screw here along the side. That just comes off this little junction box here. There's that. And you can see the power coming in. So I'm just gonna unscrew these. And these just pull right out. Okay. Well, whoever installed this was a little overzealous. Because it really stripped the crap out of this.
It wasn't you, was it?
No, it was. I don't know who we bought this from. Whoever we bought it from, they did installation. Second input here is the water supply. That's just going to go here. And I've just got these little channel locks. That's not good. Kind of feels like maybe I didn't get the. Maybe I didn't totally shut the water off. Okay. All right, so we're back. We got the new dishwasher brought in, and so we're just going to do the exact same thing we just undid. And so I'm going to first do the water supply. Okay, so we're reconnecting the water supply. What I like to do is I like to use this tape that is designed for pipes. When you you can use them for air compression pipes as well as water-bearing pipes. Okay, so the only trick with this tape is to make sure that you got a 50-50 shot. You can put this end under this one or this one under that one. If you're turning this way, you want this guy to be over the other one so that as I turn, it doesn't want to pull that tape back out and undo the tape. So that's the only trick.
I bet that's a lesson you learned from experience, Todd DeRosa.
I actually read that one.
Oh.
Yeah. experience is a dear teacher. But in this case, it came from a book. Okay, and the nice part about this being in the front of the unit is that when we turn the water on, we'll be able to look at it and make sure it's not leaking. Okay, I think that's on there pretty good, and like I said, we'll know soon enough. All right. So this one is a little more old school, in meaning I've got to use connectors to connect the power supply. Also, it didn't come with one of these, but this is an important piece that I just could have taken off of the old one. I just happen to have some here in my electrical box, but the old one actually had this on it, so I could have removed it off of the old one, but I didn't. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this on here before I try to take the power line through it. So that just comes through here, and what this thing does is it lets you run the cable through, and then it's got screws that let you tighten. These little screws here clamp down on the cable. The cable goes through this little hole here, and then these let you clamp that down so that even if the dishwasher moves, it won't pull out your connections. That's what this thing does. Very important piece.
I was going to ask that question, and then you just somehow knew
what the viewer was thinking.
What the viewer was thinking.
Yeah, okay.
Or your wife.
And the other important thing to do is to aim. To see these screw heads here, is to make sure that they're facing down when you tighten this whole thing up. If they're facing up, you won't be able to tighten the clamps down. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm just putting it into the right position. That's probably something I learned from experience.
Whoa.
Okay.
Well, I was just going to remark on how well organized your electrical box was.
You like that?
Yeah, that's really...
You're into that stuff, aren't you?
That's impressive.
Okay. You saying that normally I'm not organized?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, here comes the power cable. Okay. All right. Now, once you get this through, and an important thing to do is to make sure you'll see that the cable itself is kind of like a rectangle shape. It's not perfectly round. I like to put the flat side of this rectangle through here, and then when I clamp down with the screwdriver, then it lays flat, and you're not scrunching all of the three wires inside of it all together. So they'll lay flat, and then there's a much less chance of those things shorting out because you squished everything together. So that's neither something I read nor have experienced, but just know based on the way things work. So I'm just tightening that down, so now that's on there pretty good. I've left enough of this so that I can kind of loop it around and give myself some room. So here, the bare wire is always the ground wire, so it always matches up with green. Green is ground. All right, so let's pick an appropriate sized. Show what I'm doing here. So let's pick. These are probably the right size. Just look inside of there. Yeah, that's probably about right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to match up the green of the dishwasher with the ground wire from the house. Okay. Then I'm going to match the black with the black. Now these might be a little too long, so I'm just going to trim them. Because I really don't want it hanging out. In fact, let's use a slightly longer one here. And it's okay if the ground wire is hanging out, that's fine, because that doesn't transmit any power. All right. Okay, I got it. All right, so we've made the connection. Now we're just going to very carefully kind of wind all this, but not, I don't want to mess with those. I don't want those to get all undone. So just carefully, and just going to compress this into the size of the box, and then I'm going to put the lid back on. There we go. We're ready to install the drain. So this is the drain that comes out of the dishwasher. This is kind of nice. The other one was just a port in the very back. So this gives you a nice extension here. But what I got to do is I got to connect that drain to this drain that's down there. So this thing has 3 graduated diameters based on what your drain matches here. So I'm just gonna measure this using calipers, and I'm gonna measure the inside diameter because it's going around that pipe. That's the nice thing about calipers; they let you do that. So it's 3/4 of an inch, and then what that means is we're gonna take. You'll notice that these have writing on them. I don't know if you can see that. But this middle one here is 3/4 of an inch, so I'm going to take a very fancy bread knife and cut this off. Okay. Connecting it to the old one using the clamp that's in there. And so I just ended up cutting it down to size and then put the clamp on it. And since it's not a high pressure hose, it's just a drain hose, we should be okay, but we're also going to watch it very closely here. So we're all connected. We've got our water, we've got our power. I think we should probably turn the power back on, and then we'll do a test run and make sure everything is dry before we try to stuff it all back into the cabinet. All right. Well, we are testing the dishwasher, so we just have no dishes in there. We turn the power on, we turn the water back on, and we are just monitoring where we connected the hose down there. Really, there's two places I'm going to look. I'm going to look where I connected the water supply, and I'm just checking back here in the back where the drain is, where we connected the drain. And we're going to run a full cycle and make sure that nothing's leaking. So far, it sounds like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, and everything is a-okay.
All right.
Yep. So this one, you just put a screwdriver in there and just turn it clockwise. And really, I'm just watching this gap up here on the top, up here. We're just watching that gap up there, and I'm just going to try to get it up there as high as I can, and then I'll do the other one. Can you see it coming up? How much more do I have?
Oh, I see now. A little. It's like maybe 3/4 of an inch.
Okay. All right, that's, you can stop, and then we'll once we get it. All right, now we're leveling the back. We leveled the front, and that's up here nicely at the top. But you can see there's a gap here at the bottom, and there's not a gap at the top, which means the rear needs to come up. So now, can you see it getting level or straightening out?
The whole thing is just coming out now.
Right. That's fine. That's good.
So I think we're about level. In fact, I think you might have to.
Let's see if we can push it in here a little bit. Okay, how's that looking? Have to come down a little bit.
I think you need to come down just a little bit. The front's out a little bit too much. I don't even know what the right adjective is.
Cattywampus. How do we look? Oh boy. Alright, so I gotta angle this one.
Oh, well, you just gotta
Or are we
push it back. Yeah, you weren't. I don't think you could push it back.
So then I angle it now.
Do it yourself dishwasher install.
Okay.
As we push that other one in.
Caps in. So these caps just go right over there. They snap in.
All right. So the dishwasher's in. We've had the opportunity to use it a couple times, and I love it. I love not having to wash a lot of dishes by hand. But one of the things that I really love about it is with our old dishwasher, we have the same kind of model where you pull out here. We tried to find a dishwasher with a handle, but we just don't want to spend that much money. But the old dishwasher, when we pulled it out, it pulled this whole bracket out. This thing just pulls out so nice and easy. We love it. Dishes are clean. I love that at the very bottom there's a 4 spinner bar versus a 2. So I think the dishes are getting a lot cleaner. And I like that the utility basket is the back versus up here. Ours was like right here in the front. So I really love it. It's doing a great job, and I'm very grateful to my spouse for putting it in.
Oh,
So that's it.
sweet. Thank you.
And we've had no leaks.
No leaks.
So that's
That's a win.
the best part. All good?